Hello.
Welcome to another live show. How you doing, Mark?
Fine, thank you. Yourself, mate?
Mate, brilliant, thanks. Had a great day. How's your day been?
Beautiful. I spent quite a bit of it in the garden,
Oh yeah. What are you doing in there?
sleeping.
Ah, I mean, productive. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, it was beautiful. It's been a lovely day.
I've been just in my beautiful office all day. You see, but it's all good. It's all good. Um, right, where are we live? Can anyone hear us? That'd be great. Um, got some people watching now, which is excellent.
Super.
Oh, the messages are coming in. Brian's here. Yakin's here. Jay's here. Ian James, how you doing, gents? How is it going? Um, Brian's just finished the latest battle report. Brian, what did you think? What did you think? Jeff, how you doing, mate? So apart from gardening, what else have you been up to?
Uh, Painting Space Wolves.
Nice. That's going to be topical as we're talking about chaos today.
Yeah. Just trying to get them finished. The
Yeah.
I have here a sexy Daka Redemptor.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it is completed as good as it's going to get for the time being. The I could spend hours and hours weathering it and highlighting it, but I've just got to move on to the next unit. I need to get them finished so we can. I put a revised, um, more potent Space Wolves army up on the channel.
Nice. Sounds good. Sounds
Uh,
very good. So
I have a
we're talking all things chaos today, guys. All things chaos. So it's going to be, yeah, pretty good, I think, this one. And then also we're going to talk about Warhammer Fest, aren't we? I'll sit still. I know that makes you seasick, Mark.
yeah, well, probably all the viewing population. Um, why don't we get into that now? Why don't you give us a bit of an overview of Warhammer Fest while we wait for people to come in?
Do you not want to know what's been on my painting table first?
Oh, sure. Go on, man. Have you got anything painted? You seem like a man that's too busy to be painting.
Wow, whipped this one up, didn't I? Oh, yeah. Did this, what day? Saturday? So
Yeah.
if it's going to focus at some point, that'd be great. So I'm just going to use him as a cheeky demon prince until I get the old Slanesh army. And then today I started to build the Chain Lord. Look at him. He's got a
Very
chain
nice.
axe and a chain sword. So I've got a jump pack ready for him. I'm going to put him on a big old base. I didn't really like the possessed guy, so I thought, why not just this guy looks badass. So yeah, Chain Lord it is. He'll go nicely into the Chaos Soup list I'm currently working on.
Excellent.
Then I've got to build Mortarion in a minute. So yeah. And also just watch Game of Thrones.
No
But
spoilers,
no,
please.
okay, I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
I'm going to watch it straight after this VT live.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough. Right, so what we're talking about first, like Warhammer Fest.
Yeah, let's give us some feedback on the Warhammer Fest.
Yeah.
Who did you see? What did you see? What was of interest?
So, what did I do? So I got there, met one of the guys from our mentorship program, Henrik. So we had a really, really good chat, myself and Henrik, for ages about 40k, the game, competitive play, all that stuff. That was good. I went with my good friend Rich. So we kind of chilled all day, and yeah, basically, then just sort of milled about. Went to the first 40k Q&A session at 11 on the Sunday. So got to ask them or got to see the latest previews. Obviously, now they've now leaked to everybody else. And then also got to sit into the Q&A session. Now, everything is obviously very much hush hush, as you would probably can expect. So it was just a case of finding out, look, sort of hearing what the rules designers are thinking, and just sort of, I think one of the guys asked a question. are Grey Knights going to get the Primaris love or the Primaris treatment? And the rules designer basically said, look, I think everyone on the internet thinks we hate Grey Knights. We don't. They'll be getting some. They'll be getting some new stuffs or whatever in the near
Yeah.
future. Blah 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 blah. So I can't remember the exact specifics of what he said. So don't quote me on that. But it seemed pretty confident that I think Grey Knights are probably going to get some help, love, new models, Primaris treatment at some point. So yeah, and I think it was very interesting to know like behind the scenes how everything works a little bit. So that was cool. I think he did mention like some of the questions they get asked. Right, if I concede, can I still win?
No.
He's like, where do I put that in the rule book? Like, do I need a section for these sorts of questions? I mean, what's going on? So it was yeah, pretty funny. And so yeah, listen to that. Then I had a look at all the new models. They look really cool, like the new Repulsor, stuff like that. That looked amazing. The new Adeptus Mechanicus 30k Knights look insane. Um,
Well, hang on. Wait.
yeah,
The let's go back a bit. Where do we have 30k Knights? Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. They look sweet.
Before that, what did you say?
The new Repulsor tank.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen pictures of that. Is
Mm-hmm.
there any? Was there any discussion on the
Rules.
statistics for it? Yeah.
Well, he said, think like a AdMech neutron laser.
Okay.
So here's my predictions. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be 48-inch range, strength 10, -3, flat 3 damage. That's my prediction. I'm throwing it out there. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So you guys can tell me when I'm right.
How many shots? D6.
I think it's going to be D6 shots, yeah.
Sounds good.
I think it's going to be nice, yeah. So, um, yeah.
Can I ask you a question just while I remembered it? I also saw the reveal of the AdMech transport.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a hovercraft thing. Did you see that?
I did. No, I didn't actually see the actual model itself, no.
Okay. What did you think of that?
I just saw the pictures, but well, it looks quite good to be fair. I mean, I'm not sure. It looks like it's got 4 mounted weapons, and I don't know if they're heavy phosphor blasters like the robots are equipped with. Because if so, their range isn't great, but because it'll be a fast moving vehicle, that'll be okay. But basically, they're strength 6, -2, 1 damage, and putting out a lot of shots each. I think 3 shots apiece. However, if they're just heavy stubbers or Cognis stubbers, then it won't be so good. But they do look like the old heavy phosphor blasters. Yeah. Oh, someone's just said, looking forward to seeing you in London for the fun and fluff, Mark.
Yes, going this weekend. I put my list in last night, and I've gone Pure Dracari.
What's the points? Is it 15?
1500, the Highlander format, so you can only have one of every unit. Apart from you can double up on troops and dedicated transports.
Oh, nice. And another gentleman, Alexandra, has also said, I'll be there too. So,
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
looking forward to it.
God, I can't come though.
I think there's 2 spaces left. Oh, I think you were going away though, weren't you, on holiday?
Is it a 2-dayer?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's actually 6 games. 3 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday.
Well, the thing is, London's not far from me. It's all right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have tried to compile a more fluffy than more brutal list. I've gone fluffier and I've gone for the raiding party, which is witches, coven, and cabal.
cheeky.
Nice.
So what else did I do at Warhammer Fest? Obviously saw the release of Chaos Knights. I did have one question to the guy, and I said, you mentioned that there's nothing cooler than possessed knights. So I said, does that mean they're going to get the demon engine keyword? Because if so, the Lord Discordant will give them +1 to hit, which would be boss. That would be
Indeed.
so good. So yeah. And he was like, "Oh, that's a really specific question. I'm not sure." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, I know." So that'd be sweet.
What were any other reveals? I think that you mentioned to me that the Renegade Knights are getting a codex.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Chaos Knights. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called Chaos Knights.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in basically they did say all the Renegade Knight variants you will still be able to take in this codex, but think instead of like knightly houses, you'll have the equivalent for Chaos.
Okay. Fine.
So sounds pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Chaos getting a lot of love at the moment. Then obviously tried out the new paints, the contrast paints. They're okay. So they'll be quite interesting, I think. Just to get slap a bit of colour on. They look all right. And then and
I saw a
then
photo that you put of the one that you did.
mhm.
It was pretty impressive. I've seen a couple of photos today actually. There's a group on Facebook called Evier Metal, spelled Eavier. It's a group full of astonishingly good painters.
Yeah,
I would if anybody's watching this, you want to just witness some extraordinarily good painting. The guys that post in there are exceptional, and a lot of the guys that were Golden Demon on Sunday were posting their models in there and how they got on. And the guy had basically utilised that contrast paint, and then it was on a Death Guard model. And then he said he'd spent 15 minutes sort of clearing it up and adding some little highlights and stuff like that. It looked superb for what would have been a 20-minute job. Really, really good. So I think that if you need to paint an army fast, if you've got a YouTube channel, perhaps.
yeah. So I had a quick little lesson about from one of the guys there. So if you get any, what you need to do is basically start with the lightest color you're going to use on the model. Okay. So if you're like, let's say you're using a bone color, that needs to go on first. A yellow, that needs to go on first. So rather than going from dark to light, you need to go from light to dark. Okay. Also, you can thin it down with a medium. That looks quite good for like skin tones. That looks really, really nice. And you just basically, once you've put it on, it will take about 30 minutes for it to dry, though. That's the only problem. So once it's dried, you can then put the next coat on. And obviously, darker colours will go over the top quite nicely, but lighter colours won't go over the top of the darker colours. So just be careful on how you do use that. So start light, go to dark, basically, and thin it down with the old medium, and then build it up. But yeah, look pretty good. Like I was asking the guy about how to paint Slanesh demonettes, because obviously they've got so many like little arms and stuff. You don't want to spend, if you try to dry brush it, probably look too crude. So just a quick,
Yeah.
it looked good. So it'd look fantastic for like scales and details like that, basically. Yeah. But it's all right. But
Awesome.
it's not going to be used for everything. You're still going to use your airbrush. You're still going to use normal paints. It's just another trick to have in the old toolbox, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
But then I caught up with just loads of guys. So obviously saw my mate Andy, who did an amazing job coming third at the Golden Demon for his Blood Angels. That looked quality. Who else did I bump into? Obviously, a few of the rules writers that we've got to know through various tournaments. So it's fantastic to have a chat with them. And yeah, overall, the feedback for Vanguard Tactics was excellent from everyone at GW that spoke to, and obviously people that come and say hi. So thank you so much for doing that. Really means a lot, and yeah, really just helps us keep going. So yeah, everyone hated you though, Mark. That was generally the common consensus.
Yeah, well, that's been a problem right through my life. So, well, I changed every lifetime.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what are we talking about, Mark? Chaos.
Chaos. The What I would be interested for you to do is as I don't know a great deal about the new Chaos, and I was saying to you earlier today, I'm really interested in what you've got to say tonight because I know you've spent time and effort to go through it in detail, and I haven't had that opportunity yet. So what I've seen is that the Shadow Spear box came out with obviously some new Primaris with a 4 boss armor, and
Yeah.
then new Black Legion, and then I've seen that the CSM Codex has been updated to Chaos Space Marines,
Hmm.
and I've also seen that they've had some love in Vigilus as well.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about it really at the moment. I've watched a couple of videos, but really not got into detail yet of like of the potency, the sort of units that are great and that sort of thing. Would you be able to start by sort of telling everybody like a high level overview of the sort of love that Chaos have had over the past few months?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Is, obviously we had the new box come out, obviously the Vigilus campaign book, and obviously having a few new units added, like the Master of Possession, the Priest, the Executioner, the Lord Discordant. Obliterators have had an upgrade in model as well, and just generally the whole ranges had a bit of a spruce up from, the Terminators and the Chaos Space Marines. So, what was really interesting is not so much the Codex, but Vigilus Ablaze. Sorry. So
Yeah,
that's that. I need to quickly grab the Codex. So I want to just basically
yeah, sure.
cross-reference a couple of things. So give me 2 seconds.
Obviously, the big thing that I missed just then was Abaddon. New Abaddon is what everybody's been asking for quite some time. So that looks like an absolutely amazing model. Also,
Sorry about that.
no worries. I was just saying that I forgot to mention the release of Abaddon.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing model. Looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
And I know people have been interested in that for quite some time.
here's the guy I painted yesterday.
Okay.
It doesn't look particularly great on here. You have to look on Instagram, but yeah, the flesh looks alright, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. People in the chat are talking about what they're taking the fun in fluff at the moment. But yeah.
Okay.
So, what's your first question, Mark? What would you like to know?
So the high level overview is that you've had the Harken World Claimer and all those guys, the Lord Executioner, Abaddon, Black Legion stuff. We've had new Slanesh stuff for 30k and 40k. We've I've had a whole new rules and this sort of thing. So the question I suppose on everybody's lips is what's good in that book?
Oh,
What is
well,
um
not
or
o-
what combos are good, should I say?
yeah. So not only did they get loads of new units, they got essentially a lot of different formations, and basically you've got things now like certain keywords in that book have also had a lot of love now. Okay, so for example, like raptors have had some love. Okay, you've got havocs, obviously with new havoc models, new havoc weapons. They've got some love as well with obliterators. So you've got different elements now which are basically really built together in such a way that there can be such strong combos. Okay, Cult of the Dam. So I'll literally run through them very quickly, all the different sort of formations you can get. Okay, so you've got Bringers of Despair. This is for Black Legion Terminators only, and basically for each of these you're basically getting 2 stratagems, a relic, and a warlord trait. Okay, and for 1 CP you can take that warlord trait who's not your warlord. All right. Um, so we've had a very a really important question before we move on. Robert's asked how many bench presses of Stephen how many bench presses of me can I do with you? So how much do you weigh?
105 kilos.
So probably about 12 reps, I reckon. I reckon I got that in the bag.
I'm fidgety though on rep 11. You know what I mean? Like I get a bit uncomfortable.
You'll make me fail at 9, won't you? Just so I won't clear 10.
Plus, also you're gonna have your hand on my shorts as well. You're gonna want to put that down as soon
That's
as possible. Yeah,
that's true. That is true. But thanks for these questions, guys. They're really good.
yeah.
Really contributing to the chaos love. So, speaking of bringers of despair,
Yeah.
yeah. So essentially, you've got, like I said, a warlord trait you can take for 1 CP who's not your warlord, so it's like that extra additional benefit. You've then got devastation battery. This is basically for obliterators and havocs in warpsmiths, and they've got some really cool strategies. stratagems, so should I say, Cult of the Damned. This is for apostles, disciples, and cultists. Demonkin Rituals for Dark Apostles, Master of Possession, Possessed, Greater Demons are Possessed. Soulforge pack, you've got Warpsmith, Demon Engines. I love this so much. Then we've got Host Raptoral, which is your Raptors, which is basically like your jump pack infantry guys. Fallen Angels, this is for like Cypher, Heretic Astartes with the Fallen keyword. We've then got Legion of Skulls, which is basically your Corn Boys, like your Bloodletters, things like that. Then Black Legion have got their own relic abilities updated. They've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new stratagems just for them. On top of obviously the Chaos Space Marine ones. They've got about 5 or 6 different relics, another 6 different warlord traits. Black Legion, I think, they've got more stratagems than I think the Death Guard book have got. So yeah, because they do not have many. So basically, we've got. Oh, Brendan's also asked, are you guys going to dive into Slanesh changes after CMS? Yeah, New Keeper of Secrets. Yeah, we'll have a little. I can't think off the top of my head what their new rules are, but I do have the rules for this guy who is a beast, so I can go over him and why I got him. So we've then got also Renegade chapters, which I really like. So you've basically got more relics, warlord traits, and stratagems. You've got basically how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 new Renegade traits. So it's kind of like having another 6 chapters, because all of these Renegade chapters have their own ability. So for example, you've got Red Corsairs. These guys I really like, and obviously these are going to be so popular. Okay, so let me just quickly go over why Red Corsairs are going to be really popular. Units with this trait can advance in charge in the same turn. Now that bit normally gets forgotten about, okay? In addition, if a detachment contains 3 or more units with this trait, that detachment's command benefits are increased by 1. The detachment command points are increased by 3 instead if it contains 3 or more units of Chaos Space Marines. So for a battalion, you're going to get 8 CP for 1 battalion of these boys. Very nice. You've then got the Crimson Slaughter. If a unit with this trait destroys an enemy unit, roll a d6 on a 5+, you gain a command point. Pretty cool. In addition, that unit automatically passes morale tests at the end of the phase.
Quick question for you.
Yes.
So the Crimson Slaughter and the Red Corsairs, are they Red Scorpion? Sorry, did you say?
No, Red Corsairs.
Red Corsairs. Sorry. Are they Black Legion or like Nurgle, or can you give them any mark of chaos?
No. So basically, as per the FAQ that have just come out, a lot of these already have a mark associated with them. Okay.
Okay.
So when you take a Chaos detachment, you not only take the detachment benefit, like for example, like let's say the Purge. So these are a Renegade chapter, the Purge. So they get that ability. They then, each unit will have then, I think Purge is Nurgle. I think off the top of my head, I could be wrong. But then all of those units that are purged will have the Nurgle god, okay? That means they can take Nurgle icons, which you'll find in the Chaos Codex, and then also Nurgle-related stratagems, okay? Whereas Black Legion, you can basically allocate a unit to a different god, okay?
Yeah.
Or you can keep them unmarked. And if you do so, they have a stratagem where for, I think, a phase or a turn, they can basically have all the marks, okay, which is incredible because all of a sudden you can cast Zinch psychic powers on them, you can shoot them twice, you can fight them twice because you can give them all the best stratagems from the book in one turn. So they could be like a real powerhouse, okay, so that's pretty nice. So you've then got the Purge, which you can reroll hit rolls made by units with this trait that have lost 1 or more wounds already. The Scourged, you can reroll 1 hit, 1 You can reroll one hit roll for an attack made by a model with the unit when it comes to shoot or fight. In addition, when this unit when a unit with this trait fires Overwatch, they do it on 5s rather than 6s.
That's nice.
Yeah. Each time you make a wound roll of 6+ for an attack made with the model in the fight phase during a turn in which it was charged, it's resolved at AP -4. Each time and that was the Brazen Beasts, and then the Flawless Host, which is each time you roll a hit roll of a 6+ for an attack made by a model with this trait in the fight phase, it can immediately make an extra attack with the same unit using the same weapon. This is in addition to Death to the False Emperor. Okay, so there's some really nice combos in here. Some really, really decent ways you can start to use and really build around some of these key units and stratagems and obviously traits. So yeah, that's kind of like the overall they've got. So not only do you have those Renegade chapters, you've then also got the ones from this book to choose from. So you've got so much choice in this book. It is unreal with the different ways you can go with this and the combos that you can have. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then obviously you also get access to the Forge World units as well. So you've also got, for example, in here, you've got your Black Legion, Iron Warriors, World Eaters, Night Lords, Emperor's Children, Alpha Legion, and World Bearers. So there's another whole host of different abilities you can give a detachment.
Very cool. So that basically the original chapters got some love, and then also they've added a host of new ones.
Yeah.
So the Purge is something I've never heard of before. I don't know if any of the Chaos veterans have ever heard about it in the fluff or anything, but I don't know of any rules for it. I could be completely wrong about that though.
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, my knowledge of the lore isn't amazing, but I've heard people talk about the Purged before, so they must be about yeah.
So really interesting then that they've given such a great amount of diversity for people to be able to choose different units, different chapters, make them look awesome on the table and stuff like that, different colours, stuff, and then it sounds as though that they are great rules. You know what I mean? Really interesting rules.
Yeah. No, exactly. And then I've just looked at the community FAQ. Basically, Purge has to be Nurgle. Scourged have to be Tzeentch. Flawless Host have to be Slanesh. Brazen Beast have to be Khorne. Then obviously the other ones you could give whatever you want. So the old, for example, Red Corsairs could be whatever you so wish. So yeah, I think there's some really nice elements there. Basically. Apparently there's a lot of fluff in the 4th edition in the Aya Terra Codex about them, and so far they've been the fluff of only. So thanks guys for helping us out with that. Incredible amount of love these guys have got, absolutely incredible amount. So it's absolutely fantastic to see, and I think there are so many strong combos with this book. And obviously remember, you can ally in Thousand Suns, you can ally in Death Guard, Chaos Demons, and you can go down different, whether you want to go for like your Bloodletter bombs added in, Slanesh units to stop you from, like special relics that they have. I've just bought the Chaos Demon Codex to have a good look through. So there's so many things you can do. However, this is where I think a lot of people are going to fall into the trap. And I think that is by trying to have so many strong elements in it, it's not going to do anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so if I summarise the what's occurred, then we've had as we said, the Shadow Spear, the new Codex, the host of new units, Vigilus Ablaze. We've got all sorts of new formations. They've got new relics, new warlord traits, new chapters, new rules, etc., etc.
Yep.
So that's really cool. So if you drill down another level, then what you've said is you can field an army that's from Chaos Demons, from existing books. You know what I mean? From
Yeah,
like a
and just
uh,
plug it in.
yeah. So if you've got a Zinch sorcerer army, you know, you can plug in some Chaos Space Marines with a mark of Nurgle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the that sort of thing. If you think that that's right, so there's a huge amount of variety. So it's built for soup basically. Um, you're designed to be able to use it really well. So the big question then on everybody else's lips, now I understand totally what the rules are and what they've got, is what's powerful, do you think? What is good?
Okay, so let's go over a couple of the probably more obvious choices first. Okay, so Terminators are back with Black Legion. Okay, now the reason why I believe they are back is because they are very, very cheap for what you get. Okay, now you can either make them, for example, obviously now they get the beta bolter rule, so they're walking forward and they're putting out 40 shots a unit, which is incredible. Okay, you can give them the Marcus Slanesh. So for I think 2 CPs, they can fire twice. So all of a sudden, you've now got a unit pumping out 80 shots. Stick some sort of character behind them. All of a sudden, you're re-rolling ones to hit, or re-rolling all misses to hit if you've got a Baden nearby, or some little buffs there. Okay, so some fantastic uh, Terminator unit, big bully unit down the middle of the battlefield. Whether they're Alpha Legion and, for example, they're -1 to hit, that's always nice to keep them a little bit alive for longer. They do have, obviously, this ability in here, which I do quite like. So, for example, again, you can give them if you kept them Black Legion, you can keep them unaligned, give them that ability to have all the buffs on them and really plow absolutely everything into them. So when they need to shoot twice, fight twice, these guys can do it, and they'll be an absolute powerhouse down the middle of the table. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing 10. And obviously, they can come down from deep strike. They're within double tap range. It doesn't. In fact, it doesn't even matter where they land because they're Terminator, so they can just walk forward. So they can drop down onto the midfield and just pump out 80 shots in your face turn one. That's your screen completely nullified. So if then you've
Yeah,
got other units. Because if I'm a Chaos player and I know I've got some units which are heavy hitters in combat, then I would literally just hide everything turn one. Cool, my turn one, you just go, not really worried about doing anything. Turn two, drop down, clear off all the screen with 80 shots, with whatever else I've got then, and then turn three, everything, the next wave of things can come in and start to remove you off the board basically, or they can just be that big blob in the middle of the battlefield there, in which I'm going to start to push in Demon Princes are still incredible. Chaos Lords have just got a lot of love, so they can be running up the battlefield right behind this massive unit, which you're going to have to kill before you get to those characters, because otherwise they're going to bound over you. Now with the rules like fly being prevalent again, where you can charge over screens, it's going to be fantastic. So you're going to start to see Demon Princes back. Flying Demon Princes and Flying Chaos Lords are going to be back. So that is a very standout unit, I think, which is great.
so the Terminators, then you're saying that there's a lot of options with them,
Mm-hmm.
but they put out 80 shots is insane.
Yeah.
So if let's say you were facing Orcs, if you've got the Raptors in, which are the jump pack units, aren't they? If you screen with the Raptors, sorry, if they did jump first turn and then mob up and then send a lot of boys at you, whatever Raptors are left, fly away, leave him to your Terminators. You're going to put 80 shots into him. I don't think there'll be many more Orcs left.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean they do have this special detachment, but remember this is going to cost you a CP right from the get go. So basically, you can make any Black Legion Terminators. So this would also cover I assume, a Black Legion Chaos Terminator, like Captain or
Yeah.
Chaos Lord, sorry, because he's still a Terminator and he's still Black Legion, so he could have this. His Warlord trait: reroll hits of one rolls. Reroll hits of one for friendly brings the despair units while they're within 6. If your Warlord already has the Lord of Chaos ability, then you re-roll hit rolls for mate. So basically, now these guys, you could have just a regular captain, Chaos Lord, sorry, in Terminator armor. His Warlord trait, because he's already got re-roll ones, becomes re-roll all hits. Okay. Now remember, this isn't missed hits, and that's really important to know, because actually, if a unit's got a -1 on it, you can still re-roll the 3s, because you can re-roll all hits. Okay. Which is really powerful. So, you know, those Harlequin bikes, -1 to hit, they don't care. They're still going to re-roll 1s, 2s, and 3s. Okay, so that's excellent. So that's quite good, but now you're paying 2 CPs for this. There is a special little chain axe, which I probably wouldn't write home too much about. Units with this stratagem at the start of the fight phase, they can kill a model and it counts as 2 for morale. But again, typically, I can't really see that coming into play much, because normally you want to charge and wrap a unit and then keep them there and then kill them in their turn. So then it's going to keep the Chaos Terminators alive. So I wouldn't really probably use that too much. And they've got 1 CP. They can basically auto pass morale or units within 18 inches. So it's okay. Would I spend 2 CPs on it? Probably not. I'll probably save them. And just, you know, use them to put out 80 shots if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had a few bits of things going in the chat. We've got Adam Trotter saying the Lord Discordant. I'm definitely coming onto the Lord Discordant soon. Lots of synergy options. Lord Discordant plus engine. Yeah. So I love the Kaitan, the Forge World model Kaitan. He is an absolute beast. I'll get onto why I like him the most. Unit of 10 Terminators. Yeah, Paul, how you doing, buddy? Noctilorith and a defensive Psyker line is another nasty power drive, and is a bonus of reducing the effectiveness of enemy Psykers. Nice, yeah, sounds good. And obviously, the other element that these guys have just got is priests. Now, priests' abilities, you basically use. They're different to a psychic power, so you can't be denied. They can't be vected. They do have to roll on something for them to actually go off. Okay, so prayers are working slightly different, and if you've got a priest, then you can start to use it. Okay, so before the battle, you generate which powers you're going to use, and there's only really a few you're probably going to go with. Okay, basically, then I believe this is at the start of the round, not in your player turn. I'm just reading. Now, where does it say before the battle? So the Dark Apostle, this is the guy that you need for it. And he's not very great in combat or anything. He's just kind of like got sort of chaplain stats, so to speak. So this model can chant prayers. It knows the dark prayer list, whatever, and one other prayer from the gods opposite. At the start of each battle round, you can pick one of the prayers this model knows, and on a 3+, it is heard. Okay, and it takes effect until the end of the battle round. Okay, so even if you're going second, you can still get this off, which is nice. So, for example, you've got, if it's heard, pick one friendly Legion unit within 6, subtract 1 from hit rolls. Amazing. So all of a sudden, you could have Alpha Legion 10 Terminators -2 to hit. Really cool.
That's nice.
Really cool. Yeah. If this prayer is heard, and remember, this is just Legion, so this could be a bloody Kaitan. Okay. Pick one friendly Legion unit. Doesn't say that it has to be infantry, bike, or anything like that. There's no specifics. It's just infantry Legion unit. If this prayer is heard, your opponent rolls 2d6, discarding the lowest each time they take a morale check within 6 of this priest. Bit rubbish. But yeah, it's probably situational, I should say, rather than rubbish, but probably not one of the stronger ones you're going to opt for. The next one, add 3 to the priest attacks characteristics. Again, you're probably going to want to use that -1 to hit so far. because he's not amazing in combat. If the prayer is heard, pick a friendly Legion unit and add 1 to hit rolls with that ranged models attacks. Really nice. So you get
instead of hitting on 3s, you're hitting on 2s.
Yeah, re-rolling 1s.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you've got those, Havocs, Obliterators, yeah, absolutely spot on.
And could you do it for the Terminators as well?
Yeah.
So you then, if you were 10 Terminators, then you could have Marcus Slanesh, 160 shots, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s.
So why 160 shots?
With 10 guys, because you shoot twice, don't they?
Yeah, but you put out 80 shots then. Because you get 40, because you've got 10 guys, 4 shots each, 40, shooting twice, 80.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought it was 40 shots
Okay.
for 5. Got you.
Yeah. No, so it's because they got basically
Still great though. Yeah. Still fantastic.
Sorry,
I cut across you then. So Terminators. Then you were saying Havocs, Obliterators as well.
Yeah. Loads of good stuff with guns from this book. Obviously, someone's just said it as well. The Terminators would need to be on the battlefield at the start of this battle round in order to use a power on them. Okay, and remember, you've got to have the priest within 6 inches as well. Okay, but that Alpha Legion unit that you could start on the board, just moving forward with a -2 to hit. Cool, happy days. No one's taking out those guys. Friendly units within 6. Add 1 to wound rolls with melee weapons, which is, I'm going to come on to later why that all of a sudden becomes really incredible. 5+ invulnerable save for units within 6. So yeah, some really nice tasty elements there.
Could you have 2 and have 2 different ones, do you think?
Yep.
On the same unit? So 2 priests.
Oh, I don't know if you can do that actually.
I've already obviously tried to cheese it up as much as possible.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Also, if you've got a Dark Disciple, it can add 1 to it. Okay, so all of a sudden they're going off on 2s. Guys, I'm really sorry, but I need to go and use the bathroom. I'm bursting. So, Mark, I'm going to have to leave you in your capable company for 2 seconds.
No problem.
So, Mark, talk about yourselves, guys.
Well, this is weird. Let's summarise what I've learned so far from Steve's tutelage of the Chaos. We know they've had a load of new stuff. I've said that already. They've got some pretty tasty combos. So the Obliterators I'd already heard about were very potent, and I know that they've got. I'll ask Steve about that, but I know they've been. I think it's FAQ to have gone up in cost by about. I think they've gone up to 115 per model or per unit or whatever. I'm just summarising what we've discussed. The priest with their prayers. You can't vex it and you can't deny it as well. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing you can do about it. You know, like that. If it goes off, it goes off. I imagine you can CP reroll to try and make sure it goes off on a 3+. 3+ is good as well. You got a 66% chance with a reroll as well. You know, like you're going to be very unlucky if that doesn't go off. So just saying, the Obliterators, I'd read about them when they came out, and then they were tasty already, but then they've got even tastier. And then I believe they've been FAQ'd. The points were the 115 points per model or per unit?
Per model.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
But then with the buffs that they're getting, if you can buff them up well, or to protect them, or to buff them, mm-hmm. then they can make you that money back. I take it.
Well, that's it. If they're -1 to hit, just to keep them alive, they're pretty durable, pretty tough. Even if they're, for example, I think it is. Where's the stratagem? Night Lords. So if you went for that detachment, use the stratagem of the Night Lords. Infantry unit is targeted by the shooting attack. 1 CP, -1. So another -1 on there as well. Obviously, that is for Night Lords only, so you could have a priest in that and you'd still be -2. So there's so many cool things that you can do with priests. Yeah. So another standout unit. Obviously, everyone's talking about the Havocs in this new Reaper chain launcher or Reaper chain gun. And essentially, it gives you 24-inch range, I believe. Let me just double check. I think it's 24-inch range, and I believe it's 24-inch range, heavy 8, strength 5, -1, 1 shot. So it's basically 8 shots of a heavy bolter. And you've obviously got 4 of these guys in a unit. So they're putting out some pretty decent Dakar.
32 shots a turn.
Yeah.
Hitting on 4s because they've moved.
No. I'll stop you there, Mark.
Oh.
This unit can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering the penalties, so they're hitting on 3s. Obviously,
very nice.
You could have +1 to hit, so they're hitting on 2s,
Yeah.
rerolling 1s. Really nice. Problem is only 24-inch range.
Okay.
But what they have, if you took them with the detachment, basically, listen to this little cheeky number. Devastation Battery. And obviously this is for Havocs, Chaos Lords, Warp Smiths, and Obliterators. Use this for 1 CP. Use this stratagem at the end of your opponent's first movement phase. If you do not have the first turn, pick a Devastation Battery from your army. That unit can shoot if it was the shooting phase. So I'm shooting you at the end of your first movement phase if I'm going second. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, for example, what a nice little combo I'm seeing here already. 1 CP, Alpha Legion, you can move a unit up the battlefield up to 9 inches. Yeah. So you put those Havocs there. Orcs move forward. 1 CP, Dakram away. Pretty good. Like, it's going to really make your opponent think as well. It might not be amazing, but it's going to really get your opponent thinking about what's going to happen. But again, you've got to pay 1 CP for the Devastation Battery, 1 CP for the Alpha Legion, 1 CP for that. It's a 3 CP trick. So again, Chaos have got a lot of these really cool tricks, but they're extremely costly over time.
So the CP hungry, you're saying, to get these off?
Which is why I think you'll see everybody with a battalion of Red Corsairs for that 8 CP for that battalion.
Got you, yeah.
Now that's the other thing as well. So Red Corsairs, this is the other thing that you could do. Make a unit. You could take a unit of 20 Chaos Space Marines, okay? Red Corsairs, advance in charge, not that you're too worried about that, but listen to this. So, where is it? They have a stratagem. 3 CPs. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Pick a Red Corsairs Chaos Space Marine unit that is on the battlefield. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set up again wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away at its starting strength. So they've basically got a tide of traitors. Now, if you've got 20 boys and they do this maneuver, you're going to be in double tap range. That's now 40 shots. If that's Slanesh, firing again. 80 shots. You could do it turn 1. You don't even need to die. You could just go, I got this blob of 20, 3 CP, put them back on the board, but 9 inches away, turn 1. Because again, like, your opponent's not going to be expecting you to do anything like this, because they're normally screened for turn 2. But you could do this turn 1, come back on, boom, and I'm now going to plug in, for example, 80 shots into you. The thing that they don't get, please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think these Renegade chapters get Veterans of the Long War, unfortunately. Yeah. So that is also, that Veterans of the Long War is incredible, +1 to wound. in the attack or shooting phase. Okay, so what you could do is with those Terminators, going back to them, Veterans Long War on them, getting that 1 extra to wound roll, so they're strength 4, but now they're wounding knights on 5s, other vehicles on 4s, infantry on, 2s or 3s or 4s, basically, depending on how tough they are. And then you would get that for your entire 80 shots. So yeah, pretty devastating.
Yeah. So what other gems have you got in the book? What other units do you like?
So there's a reason why I'm building this guy here, this Chaos Lord, okay?
Yeah.
With 2 chain axes. So Chaos Lords have got pretty decent stats anyway. Now, if you make him your Warlord, all right. Where is this one? If you make him your Warlord, there's a Warlord trait that I spotted, which is really quite nice. If the wound roll for a melee weapon attack made by a Warlord is 6+, it inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target, in addition to other damage, okay? So now on 6s, you're doing mortal wounds with your weapons, okay? Remember, that chainsword, you're going to get that +1 attack, okay? So you'd probably make this guy probably Khorne, so he'd have the ability to fight twice, okay? So that was probably what you'd give him. It doesn't really matter what... he needs to be from like Black Legion, Alpha Legion, somebody like that. Basically, not a Renegade chapter, ideally, for this to really kick off nicely, because Veterans of the Long War are going to come into place in a minute. So remember, Veterans of the Long War gives you +1 to wound. Now, a Chaos Lord has got 4 attacks, okay? He's got that chainsword and extra attacks. He's got 5 attacks, okay? So any 6 pluses to wound are going to do a mortal wound. Now, what you can do is Veterans of the Long War, so on 5s, he's doing mortal wounds. So on 5s and 6s, he's doing mortal wounds, okay?
Yeah.
He hits on 2s, reroll 1, so it's basically 5 hits, yeah? You can then give him the Priest Power, +1 to wound, so all of a sudden now, 4s, 5s, and 6s are all mortal wounds, in addition to regular damage, okay?
Fight him twice. So give him the Mark of Khorne, fight twice.
Yeah, but it gets better. So there's a relic. And I believe this is a Black Legion relic, yeah. Yeah. A Black Legion relic. Gorex Teeth. User, a strength user, -3, 2 damage apiece, okay? You replace one of your chainswords with this. Each time the bearer fights, it can make 2 additional attacks with this weapon, okay? So he's basically got 6 attacks base, +1 with the other chainsword, alright? Each time you roll a wound roll of 6 plus from attack made with this weapon, it suffers another mortal wound. So now, on 4, 5s, and 6s, you're doing 2 mortal wounds. With, like, what did I just say, like 7 attacks?
Yeah, 7 attacks, and then fight twice if you're Khorne, so you're 14 attacks.
Yeah.
Hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s.
Yes. And you're +2 to wound, so, your strength 4 or 5, something like that. I think it's 4. Your strength 4, but you're going to be wounding everything with +2. So even knights, you're wounding on 4s anyway with your regular damage, which is then -3, another 2 damage. So incredible amount. I'm going to give this guy a jump pack, and he's going to run around and just give people hell.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah. Your Talos is not going to like them, is he?
He's not. No, I'll try and shoot him before he gets there.
Yeah, that's fine because he'll be stood behind 10 -2 to hit Terminators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's pretty cool.
Great unit. Yeah, I like what you've done there with the with those units. Especially like it if we're playing doubles against somebody and you're on my team.
So the Lord Discordant. Let's get onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone has mentioned there, and maybe I didn't describe this very clearly, but you only get the double mortal wound on 6 of the attacks because the 7th is the additional chainsword attack.
Got you, yeah.
It's still, pretty bloody great. So, listen to this. Now, obviously, with the FAQ, the Lord Discordants get the ability for traits now as well, which is great because they didn't have that, but now they do. So basically, they give units +1 to hit. Okay. So any, you can obviously repair stuff, and they give and add 1 to hit rolls for demon engines within 6 of him. Okay. Now this guy's pretty quick anyway. He's like moving 12, so he's pretty fast. He can keep up with most things. So when you take the forged soul forged pack, okay, 1 CP, you can basically take, and this is where you've got to be careful, guys, is if you want to run a Kaitan with this, because he's a Lord of War, you can only do it in a Supreme Command detachment. So you need to take 3 HQs and him, okay, because it all needs to be from the same detachment. You can't take a Kaitan in a separate detachment to this guy. They have to be in the same detachment. The only way to get it is Supreme Command, all right? So you've got your Lord Discordant in there, okay? He's going to have for example, this special relic as well, which is really cool. So it's like each time the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack for every model it's in base-to-base contact with, which is really cool. So that's really nice. So if you get into contact with 10 orcs, cool. Another 10 attacks, lovely. If you take this Warlord trait, add 2 to the movement of friendly demon engines to its movement while they're within 6. So all of a sudden, this guy's moving 14, and everything around you, like the Kaitan, would also be moving an extra 2 inches. Okay. Use this at the start of the fight phase as a stratagem. Pick a Soulforged Demon Engine, double the number of wounds, which is really cool. So basically, you're putting that Kaitan on its top bracket if he's already took some damage. Use this stratagem at the start of your charge phase. You can charge after you've advanced with a Demon Engine model. Okay. Now, when we actually get onto the Kaitan himself, he is just an absolute beast. So, where is my list? Let me bring up his view. So not only is the Lord Discordant pretty decent, and there is another combo here from, like you can make him like Flawless Host, and basically 5s and 6s are getting like, because you can give him +1 to hit in other bits and bobs. Again, just absolutely devastating with just about 40 attacks or something ridiculous I think you can get him up to. But anyway, Kaitan, and the only problem with him is that because he's over 10 wounds, he can still be targeted, okay? So, the Kaitan, he moves 12, but because he's near your boy, he's going to be moving 14. When you advance, you roll 2d6, not just 6, 2d6 to your advance. So averagely 7. So now you're moving 21 inches. Okay? He's got a 5 up invulnerable save. He's getting that +1 to hit because of the other boy will be nearby as well, if you can keep him within an aura buff. And he basically acts as a Lord of War, so you can shoot if there's models within 1, which is really cool. In addition, it can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering the penalties. Finally, the Kaitan gains a bonus for its cover save if it leaves half. Anyway, so he's got 22 wounds, toughness 8, hits on 3s, and basically he gets 5 attacks base, and you can make 3 hit rolls instead of 1, like the old Stompy Stomp, or you can use your Cleaver, which is 5 attacks times 2, so you're basically strength 20, quite strong. -4, 6 damage flat. So he's got tools to be able to take out loads of models, or just think. And the thing is, he's moving 21 inches, then charging you. It's devastating.
So with 40 attacks possibly as well. That sounds incredible.
This guy would have 5 attacks times 3, 15 attacks.
Oh, sorry, the Kaitan I was talking about.
Yeah. The Lord Discordant, you can really start to get up there with a lot of attacks. Yeah.
So it sounds as though what you've sort of laid out, with the units so far, is that there's some good shooting units, and then also there's a lot of good character units to buff those shooting units, and then also it sounds like there's some good melee units as well with buffing in the melee units.
Yep.
So it sounds as though there's some solid units, but it's all about the combos.
Yep.
Is that a fair
Oh,
summary of that?
definitely. We haven't even touched on psychic powers. You've got Death X, which removes invulnerable saves. You've got, for example, Prescience, add 1 to hit rolls as well. Amazing. Yeah, so that's just fantastic.
So what other units is there any other units that stand out units for you in the or even just regular units that'll do a job for you, like something that's durable?
I would really like to see 3 Defilers in a list with the Lord
Yeah.
Discordant nearby,
Yeah.
because you'd be able to get they'd be hitting on 3s instead of 4s with those battle cannons. You could then Prescience 1. All of a sudden now he's hitting on 2s. You could then get a priest on the other one if there's a priest ability which gets +1 to hit. I think so. Yeah, I think I said that earlier. All of a sudden you've got 2 of these boys hitting on 2s, and they're pretty cheap as well. Yeah, and they're such a great counterpunch. They're good at shooting, good in combat, pretty quick, and they're just pretty tough to take down as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you've then got warp time. That unit can move again. Amazing. So, your Kaitan now could be moving something ridiculous like, I don't know, 40 odd inches across the board. So yeah, some good combos, and then you can take like Chaos Lords on bikes with Thunder Hammers, perfect. Same with Chaos Sorcerers, they can be advancing charging with those Thunder Hammers as well. So yeah, so many combos, and again, like you look in that Forge World book, you've still got like the equivalent of Leviathan Dreadnoughts. They're really good with Butcher Cannons.
Yeah.
So they've got some really good shooty units. You can soup in some demons. We haven't even touched on. What I'll do, guys, is I'll do a demon review at another point, I think, because we're already getting on to over an hour here. And I want a bit more time to look through the Demon Codex, but there's going to be some really strong synergies there as well, especially with that guy. He's amazing.
So just give us a quick overview of that guy, just a very high level, because you did say you were going to. So I'm
Okay,
interested to know what he can do.
so he's a demon. He's basically got a demon prince stat line. Okay,
Yeah.
because he's a Slanesh character, he can advance in charge. Okay, he re-rolls ones, I believe. He also gets +1 strength, which is really cool to himself. And by the way, I'm doing this off the top of my head, by the way. So she's got an ability. I think he gets 8 attacks stock with his axe. Okay, so he goes in 8 attacks, does some work, and basically as soon as he's finished fighting, she can start fighting with a whip, or you could do it the other way around. She gets 2 attacks for every, or it's D3 attacks for every attack. So averagely 2. So that's another 16 attacks going in, and it's like strength 4 or strength 5 -1 damage. His is like flat 3. It's a bit more like a Thunder Hammer, I believe. So yeah, can't believe it. Like he's just putting out so many attacks. And there's like psychic powers where you cast. I think it's that they've got a psychic power for every model in the unit. For every 6, they remove one. So again, he can literally. I worked it out the other day. Averagely kills 24 out of 40 orcs in a unit. Pretty good.
Super. Yeah.
One man, and then obviously they would just probably die to morale or whatever anyway. So, one demon prince doing that sort of work for you. Sign me up. Yeah. So there's loads of good combos, but you're gonna get caught. If you're trying to go for all the special ones, you can't do it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So my question to you, and the answer seems pretty obvious from where I'm sitting, is this a meta changing set of rules?
Um, it's hard to know what the meta is now, to be honest. I think the FAQ will have a bigger impact on that than these guys alone. I think.
Well, let me ask that question another way then. It's basically are you going to see if when we go to tournaments, are we going to start to see a lot more
Oh,
chaos armies and a lot of chaos armies finishing in a lot more chaos lists with
Yeah.
Chaos Space Marines in finishing in like the top 10. You know what I mean?
Well, how many lists have we got to write this week for people? 10?
Yeah, well, I think it totals because the mentoring guys as well. We're at 19 or something like this. I think.
Yeah, 19 lists we've got to write. Over 50% of them are Chaos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of Chaos lists to be written, and it just goes to show how popular they are. It's incredible. I think we're now going to start to see a lot more power armor, a lot more Terminator armor on the battlefield, a lot more demons. So, yeah, like the great thing is people have been collecting Chaos for years. Now they've got this chance to really get them out on the battlefield and just be more than just huge in hordes amounts of cultists. Do you know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot more different builds there, which then starts to make other units stronger. Like for example, units with, let's say you had a unit of 3 Eldar walkers, and they've all got twin star cannons on. Strength 6, -3, D3 damage. All of a sudden, these weapons, which you never ever see, start to have play because they're that perfect point to strength 6 to -3 to get rid of that armor, D3 damage. So, it's going to start to bring in these other units that aren't getting much play because all of a sudden power armor is going to become a lot more prominent.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool. And when I mean power armor, I don't mean like toughness 8 power armor, like knights with a 3-up save. I'm on about, the T4s, the T5s. So anything now which is like strength 6 -3 with, let's say, 2 damage, all of a sudden becomes a really good weapon in this new meta if it does go down this kind of more marine based way. So yeah.
So I think that's got to be great because the chaos list before that was prevalent, last year with all the cultists, you didn't see any Chaos Space Marines, which was a real shame.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played against any in any tournament I've played in, because obviously they just weren't worth any points. So I think that's fantastic from a variety perspective. It's going to be. It sounds like there's a lot of brutal combos, and if they chain together, it can be decimating to your force. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to expect to come up across some and have to work out ways of getting rid of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, any other units that you like before we move on to something else?
I think that's the main ones, really.
Okay, but I take it there's so much in that book that you really, I imagine it's worthwhile for people to buy it and sit there for hours and go through it and write down what you think are good combos, and then go to the next section, write the combos down, and come back and.
And it's something obviously we teach on our mentorship program is all about stratagem use. And that's going to be really important for this. So I don't want to give too much away. Obviously, it's what we teach on the mentorship course, but stratagem use is very important with this list.
So there's some great units in there. There's some. Would you say they're fairly costed? Are they?
Yeah.
Is it Is it really an expensive army? Do you get much for your money? Do you think?
Oh, point wise for models.
Yeah. Are they more elite than they are horde?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. They are more elite, but they're obviously not on the custode level, and they're not on the Deathwatch level. But there's still some. But you could go like pure mech with this list. Loads of defilers, or obliterators. You could go down that sort of route instead with it. They can just do anything. They could do combat heavy. They can still go shooty heavy. They've got psychic powers coming out all sorts of places. So yeah.
So you've got, like you say, you've got some great units there. Some really good characters with loads of buffs and the prayers and that sort of thing. You've got some fantastic warlord traits, relics, and then you've got some really good psychic powers.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a really strong book.
Yeah, and GW have done an absolute amazing job with this. Like that, with that one book, Vigilus Ablaze, they've just managed to pack in so much power to what was probably an underused codex. And all of a sudden, this codex has just got really good. Even if they would have kept the obliterators as they were, at lower point, lower stat line, even if they would have kept Havocs as they were, Terminators as they were. The Vigilus Ablaze book alone, especially with the Beta Bolter rule, little points adjustment here and there, brilliant. So with a few little things, they've made it work beautifully, and it gives us hope for other codexes. So
yeah,
just when you see that Mark II, or you see that next, I can't wait to see what the next Vigilus Ablaze version is going to be. So, guys, I hope that's been helpful.
Any before I ask for questions from the chat, so imagine if they now release or re-release the Grey Knights Codex to counter the Chaos and the Demons, and make that potent. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing, yeah. Oh, we've got some Patreon questions, by the way.
Okay. So, what would you want to do? Chat questions first? Any chat questions, and then?
Yeah, guys, we haven't got many, so if we've got loads of just comments, but if you've got any questions, please fire them in, and I'll just quickly go through our Patreon questions.
Cool.
Which Legion or Traitor Astartes chapter are you finding to be the best option for building an army around, and why? I think I'd be taking a mix, to be honest. It's hard to commit me to one. I like the Black Legion Chain Lord. I think he's a pretty inexpensive, effective fighting machine. I like the use of the Lord Discordant and the Khitan, so you could make that Alpha Legion, so your Lord Discordant is -1 to hit. The Khitan wouldn't be, but that's okay. So yeah, I think, and then obviously you've some Red Corsairs in there for those CPs that you're desperately going to need. So yeah. Chris Smalley's asked, Obliterators viable at 115 points? Definitely, absolutely. I think their stat line, and I've been on the receiving end of them, and they just took my units off the board, absolutely decimated my robots. So yeah, very good at that point cost, especially with the buffs you can give them.
How many are you putting in that list, in the 2,000 point list? Do you think at 115 points?
I think 3 is pretty viable.
3, yeah.
Because you can just max it up to then hit +1 to hit, shooting twice. I think 2 units and you probably lose your effectiveness.
Yeah.
So you probably want 1 unit, keep it alive. It's a 345 point unit. You want to sink some buffs into that to make sure it stays there. And if you're getting 3 turns out of them, all of a sudden you're in a really good place. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. What do you think will happen to Chaos Soup when they get their own version of Knights? God knows. That's just another spanner in the works. We'll see more just single Knights added in. It's going to be devastating.
So it could be a copy of like the Imperium Soup, and you can have a Renegade Crusader, a disloyal 32 with the Renegade Guard.
Well, you'd have the Red Corsairs because they give you 8 CPs.
Okay. Well, and then the rest of them are Chaos, Black Legion, Red Corsairs, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool actually. Because what was saying, we had a discussion yesterday, weren't we? I was saying I'm looking forward to GW putting out a box set with the Renegade Guard models that came with Blackstone Fortress, because they are awesome. I think they'll look super cool.
Nice, yeah, could be good. Yeah, and then we've got Sorcerers backed up with Noctilith Crown, yay or nay? I need to have a look into that actually, and a few people have mentioned that. So I need to check that out, James. So sorry I can't answer you that right now, but I will look into that. Circling back to Slanesh, thoughts on their changes. I had a work call. Have I missed? You've covered it. We're going to do a full review on it once I've had a look at the Demon Princes. I did discuss the Demon Prince that I've got, but I need to go over the Keeper of Secrets and the new special character. And I've just got the Demon Codex last week, so I need to still read through that a little bit more. What's my view on Silent Shroud for a mask? Silent Shroud. Silent Shroud, are they the ones that basically... This is for Harlequins, by the way. I think Silent Shroud, they roll a dice, and if you roll it, they can't hit you or something on that number. I'm not that impressed with them, to be honest. Silent Shroud, just for the fact that I haven't really ever used them before. I normally go for the one that gives me +1 attack, or I go for the one that gives me D6, 6-inch consolidation, or I go for the old Soaring Spite. So they're my main three that I normally go for. If I'm wrong on Silent Shroud, let me know. If it's the one with the Death Jester where he can be buffed up, with Curtain Fall. That's pretty cool. Oh, they've got a leadership. Yeah, they're a leadership bomb and ignore Overwatch. It's okay, but I think you can get around Overwatch in other ways with Harlequins. Have I tested my new Slanesh Demon Prince? I can't pronounce his name. No, not yet. I'm still building the Chaos Army, so I'm yet to play it. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so our plan is to get that on the channel soon when you've got a first off version of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I'm still painting away. I painted a Demon Prince the other day. Well, I've got 2 Demon Princes painted, and I'm just slowly painting the Death Guard. Obviously Marines, but they're going to be fine used as whatever Marines, really, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They look pretty chaosy. So, and I'm doing a paint scheme that could be anything. They're not just green. Do you know what I mean? They could be whatever. So, kind of like what do you call it? A homebrew.
Cold
Yeah.
brew, yeah. I think that what we're discussing on the is that imagine it from our perspective. So what we want to do is have very varied battle reports, but it's difficult to and extraordinarily expensive to purchase. Like if you talk about craft worlds, so to have like a Beltan army and then an Alatok army and that sort of thing. So probably what will be the future for us is to buy an army and paint it up in its own individual colours. This is Marines, this is Craft World, this is Chaos, and then run it as whatever we like.
Yeah.
Because I think that means the people can see different stratagems, different ways of playing with different things.
Yeah, and because we're still in our infancy as a channel, like we've only been
sure.
going now for 5 months. Maybe in 2 years' time, yeah, maybe we will have a Black Legion army. We will have a Alpha Legion army. So, but it all costs time, money, and obviously, like without all of our support from our Patreons, all the advancements that we're making. So if you guys haven't seen the latest battle report, go check it out. Even like getting new music for it, costs money, and just even all the design software I use, absolutely everything. So there's all these other costs to be involved with it, not just the army. So we're doing the best job we can, possibly in the quickest time possible. So
yeah. So just want to say thanks to everybody that supports us on Patreon, and every penny of that is going back into like getting more models, getting stuff painted, hiring the place to do the battle reports, buying more kit, like the boom. We've got the backdrop now for the which came out on the battle report, stuff like that. So we're constantly utilising that cash for trying to get bigger and better, and keep with us, and in the time to come we'll have more of our own armies and more stuff that we can put out. We put more battle reports out.
And guys, if you ever see any of our content that you think's worth a share, please do. The closer we can get to that 10,000 mark on the old subscribers on YouTube, it just means we can start to open up conversations with GW, which would be amazing to have their backing and support. So guys, we really can't be more grateful for all the support that you've shown us. Even giving us a quick like on this video really helps us out. It helps us reach more people. And that's why the algorithm is, all you guys have, been on here and commented. We can't appreciate that enough. In like us as a team, we do our best job to reply to everybody as best as we can. This morning I went through my inbox, had about 50 emails to go through, and I was a bit delayed with some people with the house move, but we're doing our best to get back to absolutely everyone. This is a hobby for us as well. Maybe one day it will become our full-time job. That would be incredible. But guys, we can't be more thankful. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks so much, mate, for your time, as per usual.
Thanks for going through it. I've learned quite a lot about Chaos now, and what I've learned is try and avoid them at tournaments. And avoid playing you with them, because you'll be a nightmare with this lot.
So what are you talking about?
Yes.
Don't know what you're talking about, mate. I'm never coming up with combos. And like we said about lists, guys, if you would like a list, get in touch. It's over on our Patreon, or you can shoot me an email. We have like different packages for lists, whether it's just a one-off or you want support, videos in. What I tend to do is write the list, then a cheat sheet with all the little things you need to remember, the combos, the buffs, the abilities, and then also give you a personal video for 20 to 30 minutes talking you through. I get my whiteboard up, show you where you need to deploy, how you go through each turn, how you use the stratagems, the combos, the buffs, the abilities, all that kind of stuff in that video. And then the support package, if you want that as well, gets another 2 videos. So you reply within the first 4 weeks of playtesting. So we've got loads of cool stuff. So if that sounds good, or if you want to get on our next mentorship program, shoot me an email, Stephen@vanguardtactics.com, and I'll be able to help you out with all that stuff. So mentorship's going to be opening up soon. We've got the masterclass day on the 6th of July, haven't we, Mark?
Yep.
So if you want to learn more about 40k and get myself, Mark, Jack, Dan, teach you more phase by phase, get loads of games in by like-minded people. The guys in our mentorship are going to be there. It's not a tournament. It's going to be competitive play, going phase through phase, and how, really highlighting your weaknesses, your mistakes, and learning from it, developing it, and getting better. So if you want to come to that, 6th of July, keep it free. All the details will be over on our email list, which is www.vanguardtactics.com. I'm going to put everything out on there, like how to pay, how to get your space, what you're going to do. But we've confirmed the location now, haven't we, Mark?
Sure have, yeah.
We've got one of our guys coming over from America to come to the masterclass. Henrik said he might be coming as well over from Denmark. So guys are flying in for it. It's going to be really popular. We're not going to have many spaces. It's going to sell out so quickly. It's going to be the first of its kind. Nobody else in 40k is doing this, which is why we thought it'd be something we want to do.
Absolutely.
All right. Have I missed anything?
No, that's plenty.
All right, mate. Guys, take care, and I'll see you. Check out the battle report. Gene Stealer Cult versus Admech.
Yeah, that dropped today, so it's brand new on YouTube.
Yep, latest vid. See you later, guys. Have a great week.
Cool.
We'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
See you in 2 weeks.
Top work, Mark.